Hello, this is Suzanne from Hairdo Salon in Mesa, Arizona. I've got a short hair curling tutorial for you today. Our goal is to build some volume at the root of the hair up at the top. So many times when people curl short hair, the top is flat and all the volume sits at the bottom, kind of giving it the effect of a bell. I went in our break room hoping to get a cute little bob. And this is the closest thing I could find. We've got a whole wall of mannequins for when we teach and train over here. This one's awful layered and probably setting myself up for some failure. But you know what? Let's give it a go because, guys, this is real life. I'm going to start out using a flat iron, and then we will switch to a curling iron when our layers get a little bit longer. There's no reason to even attempt to curl anything that's just really, really short. It just looks goofy. The ends stick out funny. Don't even attempt. And this hair is so layered on the bottom and so stacked up that I'm not even going to mess with the short pieces. So I'm going to start here where I can kind of mimic that triple barrel effect that I've taught in some of my other videos. The key to this is utilizing the fact that the hair is hot and can be manipulated. So remember that things can be calmed down and tweaked and loosened. You just have to make sure that you take advantage of that hair when it's still hot. So you got to be quick. I think this is the last row that I do the triple barrel here on. And you can see I'm manipulating the second I finish it. I'm calming it down and kind of pushing the hair down to keep it from getting really big. And as soon as I can, I'm going to switch to the curling iron. Now, I want to remind you guys that I know you're trying to learn how to do your own hair. So if this was my hair and I was doing it on myself, when I got to the curling iron part, I would pull that hair forward over the top of my head and instead of trying to reach back behind my head and curl it with the curling iron. So you can see I'm kind of trying to mimic that here where I'm actually bringing the curls over the top of my head and pulling them forward. Just make sure that when you do this, you're keeping that curling iron as close to the scalp as you can because that's where you want most of the volume. And then I do my rotation. I can only get like one rotation in because the hair barely reaches. And sliding those ends out so I pull them a little bit straighter. And again, if one of my ends gets out of control, you'll see me tug on the end because that will actually collapse that curl a little bit for me. And so this is all back hair that again, you pretend like you're pulling forward, and sorry about that big mess with that clip there. I did not even realize what that looked like as I was working, but you know, life goes on. So here I've slowed this one down a little bit, rotate that curling iron and slide that end out. All right, now I'm going to move into the front, and had I been able to find a little bob haircut with longer layers, you guys, is so much easier to curl. So much easier. The more rotations you can do on a curling iron, the better the curls are going to look. And we just don't have that. But on a bob, I would do exactly what I'm doing here on the side. I would use my curling iron on the bottom. And you can see here I'm manipulating that because that got real bouncy. I'm just tugging on it to get that to calm down. But I would go ahead and I would do this technique on all the bottom hairs that were a little bit shorter. And then I would switch to the curling iron on the top. These layers are just really short, so it's just a little bit of a challenge here for me. So here I'm rotating my curling iron, and I'll link one of my videos where I go into a lot more detail on how to rotate a curling iron like this. So if anybody wants to watch that, they can. But you can see that sliding those ends out to kind of get them to collapse a little bit here too. And then when I come to the top, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm going to start to drag that hair a little bit more forward so I'm not so much on base with my curls. Bringing that hair forward is just going to make it a little softer around the face, a little bit of a sexier, swoopy curl there. And so this last one, I actually do drag a bit, and you can see it more on the other side. I get a little bit of a better view of it. I lost my hair because it's so short. But yeah, you guys, this was a challenge. This was a challenge for me. So I'm going to go ahead and use the flat iron and do the triple wave, triple barrel effect, mimicking that, lifting up, down, up. And the second one, same thing. I think I just go up and then down, but I like to have the end flick out after I do this. So whatever I'm going to do, whatever room I have, I like to make it so that my end is going to flick. That looks better when you have all the curls. And then here I align my curling iron to match the angle of the hair, to match the hairline. Do a rotation, couple rotations, slide that curling iron down. Here I'll do it again. And then when I get to the top, I'll get you a little bit of a close-up there on that front bang. But the same thing, I'm just going parallel to the hairline with my curls. Rotate the curling iron, slide those ends down. You can see I do tug on them, but I've got this sped up a little bit so you can't really see much of that tug. But I almost tug on every single one of those curls to help manipulate it and pull that down. Okay, here's my last one. So you'll see here how I over direct that hair forward to not get so on base with that curl. It's a little bit of a softer effect, and I just really like the way that turns out. All right, so once the hair is done, you can hairspray it, you can do whatever you want to do. Just make sure that before you go and mess with it, that you do let the curls cool down, because you can actually pull all the curls out if you mess with it too soon. So I'm just raking through this with my hands, just breaking things up, tucking things in, doing whatever needs to be done. And it's not too bad. It's not too bad. This mannequin head was already dry, and I don't think there's any product in it, and it was a real flat style. I had a little bit of a little bit of work getting the volume up there on the top, but it's not too bad. Not bad. It's actually pretty cute. I'm going to turn it sideways. You can get a little 360 view. But again, in the back, those little short pieces, and they blend in fine because I've got just the little kickies. It goes from not having any curl to a little bit of a kickiness, and then to the curl on the top. She looks pretty cute.